vamos a comenzar con tu nombre, tu apellido.
Mi nombre es
Bueno, Frank Alvarado, ¿en qué año tu hijo fue asesinado en manos de oficiales?
Mi hijo fue asesinado en manos de los oficiales de la policía de Salinas el 10 de julio del año antepasado.
Hasta hoy en día, ¿qué es lo que buscan ustedes más? Tú especialmente y estas familias que pues, fueron casos de abuso policial, de brutalidad policial. ¿Qué es lo que buscan hasta el día de hoy?
Bueno, estamos buscando justicia en cuestión de que reabrir los casos criminalmente, porque como salió en el periódico y en las noticias de que los dieron inocentes, el departamento del distrito, pero la cosa está de que tenemos que, todas estas familias que están atrás, que fueron incluidos para las otras personas que murieron, tenemos que estar peleando para que haya justicia aquí en Salinas, porque todas esas personas que mataron, esos seres humanos, no estaban relacionados con gangs, con drogas, no estaban relacionados con eso. Y eso fue lo que estamos tratando de investigar, porque queremos saber la verdad. Y si no nos dicen la verdad, hasta que haya la verdad vamos a parar, porque tarde o temprano tenemos que encontrar la solución de esto, ya sea estatal o federal, pero esto así no se va a quedar. Eso que lo sepan los policías asesinos que mataron a nuestra gente, que no tenían armas, pero la cuestión es de que tenemos que estar unidos, porque unidos no nos podrán vencer, y tenemos que parar ese abuso de la policía.
¿Cuál es el próximo paso, Frank, a seguir?
El próximo paso tenemos que venir al City Hall para poder protestar y decirle al mayor que él representa a la comunidad, no representa a la policía. Él tiene que hacernos caso, porque el Distrito 1 no tenemos voz ni voto. Nos están haciendo que los representantes lo están castigando, pero la ciudadanía no tiene por qué entender de que nosotros pagamos taxes y estamos registrados como votantes en esta ciudad. Y por esa cosa, el mayor tiene que hacernos caso, porque está quebrando nuestras leyes de votantes.
Okay.
Esas civil rights están quebrando.
¿Algo más que te gustaría agregar?
Lo que les pido es que tengan mucho cuidado con la policía y no traten de hacer ninguna cosa que la policía haga la excusa de que mi vida está dependiendo. Tengan cuidado y hay que portarse bien, porque una cosa sí les digo, hay policías buenos, pero hay policías que no deberían de estar en el departamento de policía. Eso es lo que tratamos también de limpiar. Estamos pidiendo al departamento federal que limpie el departamento de policía.
Perfecto. Gracias, Juan.
Let's go.
Spanish.
You only speak Spanish?
¿Cómo?
Yeah. You want somebody different other than the same?
Yeah, I'm going to interview. ¿Tú representas a alguien?
This is light right here to me. This is light. This is light. You don't really see him. His essence, you know? To me, that's amazing work. These are actual pictures. Stored out the rest.
Ok, mírame, mírame. Ok. ¿Y también perdiste a alguien o estás apoyando
al grupo?
Oh. Vamos a comenzar con tu nombre y tu apellido.
Ana Barrera.
Ana, cuéntame, ¿qué es lo que tú buscas en tu ciudad, en la ciudad de Salinas? Sabemos que el año pasado, por lo que tú estás aquí, es porque el año pasado 5 personas murieron en manos de la policía, se puede decir por brutalidad policial. ¿Qué es lo que te gustaría ver para que esta situación se solucione?
Nuestra demanda es que inmediatamente saquen al jefe de policía, Chief McMillan, así como se hizo en la ciudad de Baltimore y se hizo en la ciudad de Ferguson. Para poder hacer cambio en una ciudad que ha tenido tanta supresión, es necesario que este jefe de policía sea automáticamente removido de su posición para así traer una buena reforma en esta institución, porque en esta ciudad hay tanta violencia, no nomás de la policía, pero también dentro de nuestra comunidad. Cuando tenemos una agencia que hace supresión en la comunidad y mata a 5 latinos, como lo hicieron el año pasado, sin ningún tipo de justicia. El Departamento de Justicia vino, pero era nomás para públicamente dar más autoridad a este departamento en vez de tener transparencia y poder enseñar que tenían un caso donde ellos pueden ponerse en corte, donde pueden sacar el testimonio para ver si estos policías actuaron contra la Constitución de los Derechos Humanos para estas personas que mataron a la policía injustamente, que no tenían armas. Es muy importante de que nuestra comunidad se organice y demande esta justicia, pidiendo que se saque el jefe de policía inmediatamente, y eso es por eso que estamos aquí. Hoy es un día nacional contra la brutalidad de la policía y Salinas también todavía está organizándose. Nuestro movimiento no está silencio porque seguimos viendo la brutalidad. José Velasco hace unos pocos meses fue brutalmente golpeado en cámaras. El mundo vio cómo golpearon a este hombre y no hubo ningún tipo de justicia. Ahorita todas estas familias que han perdido sus familiares tienen casos civiles contra esta ciudad. Y por las cortes civiles vamos a tener el logro de la justicia para que esta ciudad sepa que ha violado los derechos de la gente y va a tener que pagar los gastos de la brutalidad que ha hecho con la vida de estas personas. Estamos aquí demandando que inmediatamente saquen al Police Chief McMillan.
¿Tú crees que para este grupo esa sería la solución? Sacar al jefe McMillan, que es uno de los que con ustedes está interfiriendo mucho en la situación que se está viviendo en la ciudad.
En los últimos meses hemos visto un alto número de matanzas dentro de esta comunidad, dentro de las pandillas, y eso también indica que este departamento no sirve en hacer su justicia. No saben investigar, no saben realmente trabajar con una comunidad. Y para mí es muy importante, viendo tanta violencia, y que este departamento siga haciendo tácticas de supresión a la comunidad. Hay un alto incremento en violencia cuando eso ocurre. Y por eso necesitamos una reforma, así como lo hicieron años pasados con el LAPD Rampart Division. Y vinieron, hicieron investigaciones y pusieron el Christopher Commission, una comisión que vino a investigar un departamento de policía que era corrupto. Este departamento es corrupto. Han matado a 5 latinos. En otras ciudades como Ferguson hubo 1, 2 muertes. Aquí han habido 5 y ningún tipo de justicia. Somos latinos, somos part of Brown Lives Matter y Black Lives Matter, y estamos pidiendo justicia. Los padres están aquí pidiendo justicia por Frank Alvarado, por Carlos Mejía, todos los familiares que han perdido. Y nosotros, yo siendo miembro de esta comunidad, estoy aquí apoyando a las familias que buscan la justicia.
Perfecto, ¿tu nombre no?
Ana Barrera.
¿Te puedo poner líder de comunidad o te puedo poner que eres parte del grupo Justice for Salinas?
Justice for Salinas.
Perfecto, gracias. Ya, con esto. ¿Ya? Sí, muchas gracias. ¿Quieres dar? Vamos a ver cuál es tu
más importante voz estar aquí.
Vamos a ver qué tienes que decir. Sí, ya, claro.
Más importante.
Quiero.
Nomás queremos agregar ahí lo que vamos a hacer para el concilio.
Martes, ok, me pasas tú la petición. Ok, vamos a ver. Mírame aquí. Vamos a comenzar con tu nombre, por favor, apellido.
Enrique Méndez Flores.
¿Y a quién representas?
Pues yo represento al segmento silencioso de la ciudad, al segmento que está trabajando en el campo, la gente que no está familiarizada con los sistemas del ayuntamiento. Nosotros hablamos por
Pero un título, ¿cómo te puedo poner entonces?
Pues tengo un grupo que se llama Águila.
Águila, ok, Águila.
Te doy ahorita mi tarjeta.
Ok, sí he venido contigo, ya te he gustado. Ok, ¿qué es lo que Salinas necesita para mejorar su relación con la policía y tratar de eliminar tantas matanzas y brutalidad policial?
Muy buena pregunta. Mire, realmente lo que nosotros necesitamos que el ayuntamiento haga, ahora que van a cambiar la constitución local, porque están por cambiar la constitución local, el city charter que le llaman, ahora que están haciendo eso, deben de incluir ahí que los policías tengan seguro cuando desempeñan su trabajo, así como nosotros tenemos que tener seguro si causamos un daño cuando manejamos o en nuestras propiedades, así los policías. Porque lo que sucede ahora es de que nosotros, los que pagamos los impuestos, estamos pagándoles a ellos el hecho de que se les demande, por un lado. Por el otro, las autoridades del ayuntamiento bien pueden exponerse a cualquier tipo de demanda y a ellos no les interesa porque ellos no lo están sacando de su bolsa, ¿sí? Quien los está sacando de su bolsa somos nosotros, aquí de la billetera, nosotros los que pagamos los impuestos. Los que pagamos los impuestos somos los que tenemos que estar pendientes de que nuestros representantes, la gente del ayuntamiento no abuse. Entonces por eso es indispensable de que los policías tengan un seguro para que sean responsables de sus acciones y no nosotros los que les estamos pagando su salario. Una. La otra, este cuerpo policíaco, de todos los cuerpos policíacos que hay en la nación, es el cuarto cuerpo policíaco que más gana en salarios para una ciudad de la nación, es el cuarto cuerpo policíaco que más gana en salarios y que tiene beneficios grandísimos. ¿A cambio de qué? ¿Qué tipo de protección nos está proporcionando? Ese es los temas más importantes que pocas personas están familiarizados. Número uno, que tengan seguro los policías para desempeñar su trabajo. Y número dos, que sean responsables. Y número dos, se les está pagando un dineral que no justifica su trabajo.
Número no, porque me dice número uno, número dos, número dos. Entonces, nómbramelos así, número uno, número dos, número tres. Y pruebo que demostrar. ¿Vamos?
Número uno, que el cuerpo policíaco, que los policías tengan su propio seguro para que se protejan ellos en caso de que cometan las fechorías que cometen. Número dos, que estamos pagando un dineral al cuerpo policíaco injustificadamente. Y número tres, ahora que se va a reformar la constitución de la ciudad, que nosotros como gente vengamos aquí a hacer eco de nuestras protestas. Eso es muy importante, que participemos. De lo contrario, van a seguir saliéndose con la suya, porque los representantes que tenemos no representan a nadie, honestamente, no representan a nadie. Están ahí nada más como un sello de aprobación.
Ok, perfecto. Muchas gracias.
A usted. He dicho.
Hombre, es que mucho.
I don't know what I said. Eso.
Ok, ¿quieres?
Sí, va a ser breve. Va a ser breve sobre
¿Qué es lo que entonces qué es lo que necesitan?
a este punto
Es responsable porque pues no sé si Salinas es pues también tiene otras, un poco más complicado, pero
No, no le he hecho nada.
bueno,
Ese es-
especialmente la otra. Craig.
Sí,
O sea, hay varios que pues, entonces es lo que...
se puede hacer más. Claramente, eso es lo que es.
Pero realmente
pedimos.
lo que quiero escuchar es qué es lo que lo que tú me vas a decir, ¿no? Yo no sé mucho.
Sí, lo puedo hacer en breve.
Ok, vamos. Ok, tu nombre, como siempre, Tomás, por...
Sí, gracias. José Castañeda, concejal, miembro del distrito número 1.
Ok, bueno, ¿cuáles son los planes para el concilio y cómo determinar qué hacer con el departamento de policía, que es el que está causando muchos problemas?
Luis, al momento eso es lo que voy a hacer una petición para el martes, esta semana que entra, llamarle la atención al alcalde, a los otros miembros de este concilio, que sepan que no hay confianza con este departamento de policía, no hay confianza con el jefe de policía. Hasta más, este no es algo nuevo, ya tiene mucho tiempo, décadas del departamento policíaco, el abuso de poder y autoridad. Y lo que ha pasado en el 2014, ahí tenemos 5 miembros de nuestra comunidad muertos. Hasta la fecha no hay ninguna respuesta. La oficina del procurador, la oficina fiscal de Inflepo, ha hecho el contrario y se han lavado las manos también en este sistema corrupto. Y para nosotros en nuestra comunidad eso no nos deja en paz. Por eso seguimos por medio de comunicaciones comunitarios como con ustedes en Univisión. Queremos llamarle a cada uno de esos miembros en su casa, en nuestras comunidades, que no los hemos ido, no los vamos a dar por vencer también, porque queremos organizar. La justicia va a venir de adentro. En otras palabras, la justicia viene por el pueblo. No podemos esperar más para el Departamento de Justicia a nivel federal. Aquí necesitamos que hacer nuestras acciones comunitarias y empieza hoy. Por eso hemos formado un grupo que está involucrado en la política, está involucrado en la comunidad, va a estar involucrado en educación y en formación. Ese viene siendo justicia para Salinas. A hoy mismo.
Entonces, nomás quiero que me quede claro ya por último, este próximo martes, el próximo martes de la próxima semana, ¿verdad? El martes, tú le vas a hacer un llamado a otros miembros del concilio, me decís algo.
Sí, para el
A
martes.
recordarles, porque pues ellos
Ese es
saben del...
recordatorio y siempre viene siendo que nosotros necesitamos más representación de nuestras comunidades, especialmente que ya somos 75% hispanos en esta ciudad de Salinas, que tiene 155,000 habitantes. Queremos darle ese recordatorio que el martes a las 4 de la tarde, aquí en las oficinas municipales, conocidas en 200 Lincoln Avenue, enseguida del Departamento de Policía, queremos usar el público, juntamente con nuestros grupos y otros abogados que van a estar aquí presentes, y queremos darle un alto a las violaciones de derechos civiles, las violaciones de nuestros derechos de votaciones, y también violaciones humanos, especialmente que vienen con nuestros otros miembros de nuestra comunidad que son importantes también, los desamparados. Entonces aquí vamos a estar para el martes y buscamos que estén presentes miembros de la comunidad para apoyarnos.
Perfecto. Pues ya nomás dejar el video.
Sí, vamos allá a empezar nuestra acción.
Good evening. Today, October 22nd, is the National Police Brutality, the criminalization of a generation, and the repression of people. I got together with these wonderful people, and we're out here trying to share our stories of what's going on in Salinas. We may be a few, but with these few, we are powerful. We've spread the word. Others have to work, they have families, but we will continue. I want to introduce my first speaker. Her name is Rita Acosta. Her son is Jose Velasco, and he was brutally beaten by our famous Salinas police. Rita?
Do I have to speak on this or no? Yes? June the 5th, I called Salinas PD and called for a mental, I called for help with my son because he was having a breakdown. He was having an episode. And so I called for help. And I told them that I needed a police unit and a medical unit because they told me that I needed to call them and they had resources that help with the mentally ill. So I called, and I thought at that time I was going to be receiving help for my son. And when they got there, instead of helping him, and usually I get help from the police, this time they were under the assumption I was being attacked by my son. Because callers had said that a young man was trying to throw a woman into the intersection. And everything happened so fast, I didn't even get to say anything to the police when they got there, because right away they treated him like he was attacking me. They pulled my son off of me. I yelled and I was telling them that my son was sick and that I called for help, and nobody listened or paid attention to what I had to say. All of a sudden, my son was being tased. He was screaming for help. Not because the police were hitting him, he was screaming for help because he was being attacked in his own mind, I guess. He was fighting his demons that day. And the police department made my son out to be like a monster. You know, saying that he was trying to throw me into the street, he was trying to kill me. That wasn't the case. I was on the floor because I was trying to get my son not to go into the street, so the only thing I could do is put all my weight to his feet, you know, wrap myself around him. And the police thought he had me down to the ground, so they pulled him off, tased him, and as I'm yelling, telling him to stop, my son's just still screaming, "Mom, help me, help me." So he pulls, but they tase him, he's pulling the tasers off of him, and then all of a sudden, it's like, one by one, the police started coming, hitting him. And still, I'm hearing my son yell, "Help me, Mom, help," you know, and I keep telling him, "Stop, my son's sick." I called for help. Nobody paid attention. As the time kept on going, more officers were there, hitting him and hitting him. At one time, I actually thought my son was dead because he just laid there. And still, after they were done, they got my son, carried him like he was a hog on a stick, and put a bag over his head. My son doesn't remember the beating, thank God. He just remembers little pieces. He thought the Salinas PD was trying to kill him when they put the bag over his head. When they were done, they asked me if I needed medical attention, and I said no because I called for my son. So then they told me, "Well, is your son a gang member? And if he is he active?" And I said, "What does that have to do with me calling for help for my son?" And they didn't answer me, and they just went off, and that was the only thing that they said to me. Nobody talked to me and asked me what was going on, what happened, what started, or how it started. The following day, a police officer tracked me down because they wanted to take pictures of me because, like I said, the newspaper and everybody said that my son was beating me and slamming me to the ground. But when the police came, I didn't have not one bruise on me or anything because that wasn't the case. You know, it was me trying to help my son, trying to save him from running back into the road. And, you know, I called for help for my son. My son, to this day, is still in county jail. He has a bunch of felony charges on him. They say they're trained with those batons not to hit major joints or anything, but every joint on him has a chunk of meat that was taken off of the baton. It cracked his head open. He got 37 staples in his head, which they say they don't hit, you know. They were aiming for his hands, but I mean, his head's bigger than his hand. I just, I don't know. I think my son shouldn't be in jail. I called for help, and what he got was not help, nor I. He said he got hit by the police, and one officer that just kept swinging at him like he was a piñata.
Is that him?
Yes.
Is that right there?
Yeah.
That's him right there.
Yeah.
Piñata time! Put the camera on him!
Rodney,
Rodney!
Rodney, I want help.
Walking slowly.
Put the camera on the guilty one over there. That's the guilty man right there. Put the camera on him right there.
Just like
You take it through with me. Walk on right now. You're not
I
paying
thought you were for the homeless.
he beats people.
You said you supported us.
You beat people. These people want to beat people.
The officer?
There's multiple exits. He chose to come out this way right now.
I never believed that he would be one of the ones that attacked my son. That's just like, I couldn't even believe it. But, yeah. My son's still in jail. And I hope he would come out, but that's not the case. And the police said that he had a parole hold on him. The parole didn't even know that my son was at Jose Velasco that was beat, so it wasn't him that, the parole officer didn't have a hold. It was Salinas PD that had a hold on him, so now we're just waiting for his court to go through.
Continue fighting.
Yeah, continue fighting. Justice for Jose Velasco?
Justice for Jose Velasco! Yeah, Rita!
Justice for Jose Velasco.
On this National Day against police brutality, we are here representing Salinas, representing Brown Lives Matter. We demand an immediate removal of Police Chief McMillan. Just like you saw in Ferguson and you saw in Baltimore, we demand that this police chief be removed. He's negligent. He does not supervise his officers. He does not reprimand his officers. He does not even do any kind of work that would help bring peace to our city. Instead, we see a spike in gang violence, and we continue to see these police officers beating on our people. We demand an immediate removal of Police Chief McMillan. Brown Lives Matter, and we're here in solidarity with the families, the fathers that have lost their sons, the mothers that have seen their sons be beaten, the families that have seen their family members being killed by the police department when they were unarmed. We demand justice. The Department of Justice has come here, and all they did was a dog and pony show. They did not do any kind of judicial review to demand that these police officers or that the Monterey County Superior Court do any kind of referral so that these police officers would stand trial. Instead, there were reports coming back by the same police department that's policing itself, not putting any charges against these officers. We demand justice. We are calling for this National Day of Police Brutality to demand that Salinas receive its justice, that this police chief be immediately removed so that we can bring back our city to peace and that we can bring reform to this police department.
Yes.
Brown Lives Matter, and we're tired of the violence, we're tired of the abuse, and if we allow this police department that continues to suppress our people to continue to function with any kind of reprimands, with any kind of justice, we will continue to see a spike in this violence that is occurring here. So we demand that immediately the Department of Justice, the state elected officials, the county elected officials hold this city accountable. We might not have people here that were killed that might have been undocumented. Some of them were U.S. citizens. Yet people have rights. The United Nations has declared that the police departments in the United States are violating human rights. And we in Salinas are calling on our state, we're calling on our federal government, and we're calling on the United Nations. Please hear our case. We need to see that these police officers, these police chiefs, be put in a court, whether it's an international court of justice. We demand justice now.
When do we want justice?
Now!
When do we want justice?
Now!
When do we want justice?
Now!
Why do we want justice?
Now! Brown lives matter!
Do you know how to spell justice?
Hey, hey, ho, ho! McMillan's gotta go! Hey, hey, ho, ho! McMillan's gotta go!
You'll be glad.
So we need to demand on this National Day an end to police brutality in Salinas. We are here representing Brown Lives Matter. We are here representing our comunidad, nuestra gente, y que demandamos que nuestra comunidad latina nos escuche desde Salinas, que aquí también está ocurriendo la violencia. 5 hombres latinos han perdido su vida y no ha habido ningún sistema de justicia para nuestra gente. Sea el hecho de que algunas de nuestras personas que murieron sean indocumentadas, residentes, también unos han sido ciudadanos. El hecho de ser latino no nos han traído justicia a nosotros y demandamos inmediatamente la justicia, que remuevan este policía, este jefe de policía de Salinas, a Police Chief McMillan, y que nos traigan justicia y una reforma en este departamento de policías.
Thank you, Anna.
We are here on this day because police brutality has gotten way out of hand. I mean, we go for days reading through the paper, one incident after another it's been, and it's just getting way out of hand. And what's even most scary is that the media doesn't even report most of it, because notice how many mainstream reporters are here today right now. Yeah. One and close to none. I think that pretty much sums it up right there. Because, exactly, because they don't want people to know about it, because they're in colleagues with the DA and the police, so they can help keep their fairy tale going and be able to sweep under the carpet the truth of really what's happening.
No problems in Salinas.
Yeah, exactly. And also that's why, like, around this time of year in Watsonville, it was formerly done by the Brown Berets, they would have a peace and unity march where they would march around the city denouncing gang violence, brutality and things, and the media would never cover that. And there would be over 100 people at that march, and they would shut down the streets so people could march. And how many reporters would be there? Close to none, or maybe one. And that's because they don't want to show anything positive in the community. They don't want to show the truth. They just want to help the DA, the police, everybody with their fairy tales.
Get some army tanks going.
Exactly. And
Got a new one.
that's why on March 28th, I stood on the freeway, and yeah, the press were there, and they got my picture, but they sure aren't listening. And what I fear is that if they're not going to listen to me and they're going to call me a hooligan, well, I was doing that to try to prevent further violence. And I don't think that's hooliganism, frankly. And what I fear now is that if they can ignore me, but maybe some people other than myself or my co-defendants are going to come out and be less patient, and we're all going to be at risk of the anger and violence which is perpetuating. And these fairy tales that they're telling, and the suppression that they're inflicting upon all of us, and the lives they're taking, it's got to stop.
Support Monterey 8! Support Monterey 8!
Thank you. Hello?
The microphone, the other part down.
There you go.
No? Okay. I'd like to say thank you to all you guys people, because you people are very special, because a lot of people say they will not support to us, for some things they regret it later, they don't come, you know, but you know what? I find out that, you know, we gotta support each other, you know, no matter what, you know, for good or for bad, you know. I've been supported that number 8 people that have been going through court, and that guy, they just talk, you know, I mean, he's Max, and he is a real good guy, you know, I mean, he don't care about being arrested for what he was fighting for. He was, that time we were fighting for justice, for all the killing being happened on Salinas. Anyway, what I like to say about Salinas, California, that's the worst city on the entire state. But up to date, we haven't got justice. Why? Because the answer is so easy. Mayor used to be a police officer, a detective, connected with the DA, promised things and never done. So they lied to the public through the newspaper, through the media, to the television news. They always lied to keep the Salinas clean. But they are a bunch of liars, sadly. They cover each other. They afraid to come out with the truth. But you know what? Sooner or later, their time they're going to run out, and they're going to have to be answered all the questions about the truth come out for all those 5 innocent persons they killed by police department. And we don't stop until we get justice, no matter what. Tell us no answers, make us stronger, and we keep on fighting for it. It's the same thing like District 1 in Salinas. We pay taxes like any other district right here in Salinas, and just happen to be that our representation don't have a voice. Why? Because Mr. Castañeda tell the mayor all the time the truth, and they don't like it. And the mayor got the other ones, councilmen, whatever he say, they had to say, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, you know, and that's a bunch of BS. We're going to have to fight, you know, to come right here next Tuesday, to fight in front of the mayor, to tell them that we pay taxes right here in Salinas. We don't live free right here. And it's about time that he start taking care of our citizens, our homeless, our senior citizens, because this city is falling down thanks to all the rich agris and bunch of gain that is right on the DA, mayor, and police department. $8 billion industry. And what we get? Nothing. We got 10,000 kids that ain't got nothing to do after school, and they don't do nothing. Jail's getting bigger and bigger. You know, they trying to put more people inside the jail. Why? Because it's a big business. They don't want to let it go of those business. And we have to fight for our children. The children's coming. We got to fight. We got to educate those kids, because they don't want our kids to get education. They want us ignorance. You know what? We have to push our kids to get education, because that's the only best weapon you can get in life, your education. Thank you. Excuse me. I just gotta ask a 1 minute of silence for Ángel Ruiz, Osmar Hernández, Carlos Mejía, Frank Alvarado,
and Jaime Garcia. Thank you.
¿Qué queremos?
¡Justicia!
¿Cuándo?
¡Ahora!
¿Qué queremos?
¡Justicia!
¿Cuándo?
¡Ahora!
I don't think I need this. I can speak loud enough.
Press the red button. It's on. The red button.
This one? No, toca another. Microphone. This is microphone.
Thank you. I want to thank the organizers of this important event. And I am addressing myself in here because I am a taxpayer. And as a taxpayer, I am and have been extremely concerned about what's been going on with our city. As I understand it, the homework of the city is to provide us with infrastructure and safety. Well, most of the speakers in here have already addressed themselves as to what kind of safety we are getting in return for my tax money. I don't like what I hear. So, I am extremely concerned, obviously, that the police department takes 60% of the city budget for benefits and salaries, in contrast as to the bulk of the people that makes possible that particular budget. In other words, if we are a great percentage of working people in this city, few of us actually do have the time to come to the city council to understand what these guys are doing. I am trying to figure out, and I haven't been able to obtain an answer, what is it that the city councilman is supposed to do? And I felt all along that the role of the mayor is extremely and unique, symbolic. He is a guy that's supposed to go.
Mayor Gunter's gotta go.
He's the one that's supposed to go and cut ribbons to particular events, but not to act as a dictator.
Hey Joe, I'll debate you right now on camera.
It's unfair that you take a position that is symbolic and you turn it into a power kind of a situation. It's extremely unfair to me as a taxpayer that they only give me 2 minutes to address myself to whatever issue I am concerned about. I don't think it's proper. And one of the things that the citizens need to understand is that what they are doing now, they have this guy, the mayor, 2 years in power. Now they want to turn it into 4. So they want to revamp the city charter, the constitution of this particular city, and turn it into a 4-year power. We cannot allow that. Being that said, it's also very important that now that they are working on the city charter, that we as citizens go in there and speak our mind. And one of the ideas that I think that we have to make clear in the change of the city charter is that we need to make the police responsible for their own actions. Therefore, I think that it is extremely important that the city charter states in that particular constitution that these guys need to have their own insurance. They have to be responsible for their own actions. Because right now, I am responsible for their actions. If they get sued, I am paying for their legal fees. I am paying for everything. It is unfair to me. It is unfair to my neighbors. It is unfair to the people that knows and understands little about what these guys are up to. So these guys want to have the power to make changes. They don't supposed to do that. We are the people with the power, not them. We did not name them to just rubber stamp whatever they want to do. No. We have to tell them how we want things to be done. And one of the things that we need to have done is they cannot abuse their power. That's one thing that it is not allowed. Okay? Have a good day and thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Gunter's gotta go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Joe Gunter's gotta go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Joe Gunter's gotta go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Joe Gunter's gotta go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Joe Gunter's gotta go.
Get him a spot. Yeah, why does he come and debate us?
Brown lives matter.
I'm louder than that.
See you later, baby.
Farms.
See you later, baby.
Because he's just a coward who wants to hang around and taunt us.
Are you gonna kill those girls you're with right now, Gunter?
Adios, amigo.
We know what you do in the dark.
Bye-bye,
Dirty
baby.
pig.
See you later, baby.
¿Cómo decías? Swastika negra.
Schwarzenegger? Schwarzenegger. Okay, get to you. Jojo. He's leaving now. He's leaving. He got in his car right away and left.
Ask Joe Gunter what he does to teenage girls when nobody's around. Ask him.
Okay, can you hear me? What I'm doing. Can you hear me? Okay. Like that? Can you hear me? Okay, now can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, my name is Josie, and I'm here to talk about... Closer? I'm here to talk about my brother-in-law, Angel Reese. He was killed in March last year. He was shot 14 times by 3 cops. I just really want to say more of the effect that it took on everybody. He left 3 daughters and his wife, and they're secluded, more or less, like they just do their daily issues and then they go home. They don't really communicate with us very much, and I can understand that. I've asked my sister-in-law many times to come with me to these things, and she's not ready to do it. I've asked her to talk to someone, and she's not ready to do it. I just don't understand. I mean, I've been coming here for the last year and a half, and it's not just for my brother-in-law anymore, it's for everyone. And also, as a little girl, I've seen my dad and my uncles being beaten by the cops, and I've been harassed by them also. And I just don't understand how they can get away with everything that they do. There's a lot of things that were on video, and you can plainly see that they were doing wrong, and they still got away with it. So I just really hope one day there'll be some kind of change, because I have kids, and they're having kids, and I don't want them to be living like this. I invite my older children to come, and they don't want to come because they're scared, and I understand that, and they're scared for me to come, but I understand that. But I just want change for my children and for the whole community. Thank you.
Go, Natalie.
all coming today. I just wanted to talk about how the youth react to situations like these of like police brutality. I try to gather up my classmates from my government class and some of my other classes over there at North High, and I brought some of the flyers that we had made, and I talked to people and I talked in front of the class, and I told them that they need to hear me out because I knew that most of them were probably going to ignore me if I didn't say that. But I had told them, I go like, this is a society that we have to raise our own kids, and our kids will raise our grandkids. And it's a corrupted society. I don't want to continue living in this kind of society where you don't know what the heck's gonna happen. And if the cops beat you up or kill you, they can get away with it. And I told them, I go like, you guys can't just let this continue. You can't let it go until you end up realizing that something's wrong when it ever happens to your family. And I told them, don't wait to the last minute like my family did. It took my uncle's death, murder, for my family to even step up into situations like this. I told them, don't wait until your brother, your sister, your mom, dad, aunt, uncles, cousins end up being killed or beaten by the cops for you to finally realize that something is wrong and that you need to stand up and make a change. And some people said that they were gonna try or that they would, and as usual, nobody ever shows up. And it's depressing because it's like they don't care. I guess they don't really have a matter in the world. They're not interested in things like this. They never partake in anything of the politics that happen in the school. Even in our government classes, when there's debates or anything, they just stay silent. They don't say anything. But I'm the only one that even talks about it. I'm the only one that ever has responses to things about what is democracy, how can you take part of it, what things need to be changed in society in order to make it better for not only the youth but the next generations to come. Nobody ever talks unless it's me. And not only that, but a few days ago we had started an assignment in my government class where we had to pretend that we were the House of Representatives trying to pass a bill. My teacher separated our class half and half, Democrats and Republicans. I ended up becoming the House Minority Leader for the Democrats. And everybody wanted me to be in the position. And we had to come up with bills, like to pretend like if we were the actual House of Representatives trying to pass the bill. And I chose the topic and the issue of the police brutality and racial profiling. When I talked about it and when I put all of my heart and all of the knowledge that I know that we're all trying to get here, what we want out of this, the change, the accountability and transparency and the indictments for cops to be indicted for what they've done, nobody even wanted to go against me because they knew that if they were going to say some stupid things to counter me, I would have gone after them, or I would have countered them too, because I wouldn't let it go and I wouldn't let them try to step all over me. It supposedly passed in our little House of Representatives, and it's funny to see how all of them could debate on things like certain issues like abortion, minimum wage, immigration reform, and some of them would deal with the police brutality, and they have like so many ideas, but they never come out and do it. They can debate forever and ever, but they can talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. They never show up. You ask them, and I asked them nicely, and apparently when I started crying about when I started talking to them, and I tried to get it through to them, I guess they just pushed me aside and just ignored me. I was hoping at least one person would show up, and now to see nobody shows up, I'm kind of angry. Because what's it I could take for them to even say anything? For
them to even want to make a change. And I guess they're just going to continue to let themselves be stepped all over and our futures to be crumbled because of this corruption in our government and our societies. And I'm really tired of it. That's why I'm going to continue doing what we do, no matter what. And if my peers and my fellow youth don't want to do it, then they'll find out in time that they're going to need to do it, and they're probably going to regret not doing it earlier.
¡Viva la guerrillera!
Yeah. West White.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about policy around here. It's kind of globally known that a few people hold all the power, and you elect these people. Kind of what most people say is we have to choose between the lesser of two evils or four evils. That's where we're at right now. We're not anywhere of a democracy at this point. We're still working on it. They don't represent us. They represent money. They represent big corporations, and here is ag industry. It's businesses. And that's kind of where we get our cops. They're professional security guards that work for people that pay in the most amount of tax revenue. Our two largest unions are the police and fire. So what do you think happens to a lot of the budget? It goes to the cops. It goes to the fire department. There's a thing, every time there's a shooting, they say, hey, we were in line. We did our duty the way that our policy is put out. They're in line, say, a few pieces is PCAT, and all these committees. One of these things that we really need to do is get involved in the process of city government, of our local government, because they're in charge of what we're doing, and they're spending our money to defend themselves to say they did nothing wrong. And according to their policy, it's arguable, and unless you have more money than they do to argue back, they win because they have deniability. Hey, this is it. This is the way it is. What are you going to do? Come and tell me I'm lying. Then you have to prove it. There are body cams. You know, what happens? Oh, I forgot to turn it on. I don't know. It got lost in cybercloud.
Sounds like BS to me.
So, you know, but these are the ways that they do this. They act like they're in high school football quite often. So you see the mentality of it is, hey, you know, don't worry, I got your back. Remember Walter Scott, the guy that got shot in the back as he ran away, and the cop came up and threw his taser right next to him, and the guy right next to him says, don't worry, I got your back. And there's an awful lot of this team mentality that happens, and you know, it's where's the justice in that? It's not. It's team us. It's just us. It's not justice.
Just us.
So people in control need to be held accountable, and we're the ones who need to hold them accountable. We need to change their policies and be a part of this process as much as possible, whenever possible. And certainly it does make it very draining, especially when they put more roadblocks in our way, because they don't want to give up any power. Somebody else just talked about the 4-year change for the mayor being 4 years. It was 4 years, and then we had a population of 100,000 people, and so the reasoning to change it to 2 years, too many people. Now we have 160,000. And now, what's the reasoning? We have too many people. We don't want to get re-elected every 2 years. That's too tiring.
6 months after we in power.
I'm noticing an awful lot of insider trading. That decisions are made well in advance before the city council meetings, and it's just railroaded through. You see decisions 6-1, 7-0. Who in there has a voice or an idea that's their own? It's not. They've already decided, and you've got a system with the Brown Act. You can't go more than a majority talking to each other. So that's 7, that leaves you 4. You can't do 3 or more, or else you're violating the Brown Act. However, you have the city clerk, you have the city manager, and you have the city attorney who can speak to every single council member and say, guess what? This is a plan. You go with it because the mayor's on board with it, and so am I. And this is the way we want things done. And then you start realizing, why do they make these decisions? Is there an invisible hand behind it? It's called big business. It's called tax revenue. Where do we make our profit? Where do we make our money? Who do we consider a community? The only people that city council and city corporate considers community are their own employees.
Shake your heads. If it was your kids getting killed, you guys wouldn't be shaking your head.
Hey,
my
those are a bunch of cowards.
For help for my son turned it into him getting beat. You guys laugh and smile because it's not your kid. It could be. It could be.
One by one, we'll get them out.
I don't understand how.
It just makes me wonder.
Sit there and smile and
taunt us. And him in jail. They're the ones who committed the crime against him.
It certainly makes me wonder what kind of income bracket they're in.
They don't have to worry about their kids getting beat.
Think about this. A police recruit makes $70,000 starting pay.
High school diploma.
Yes, a high school diploma and a no criminal background.
Probably a GED.
So here's another thing. Starting out as a teacher, you make $30,000. Who interacts with children more? Who interacts with people more?
They don't have to worry about the problems that we do. That's why.
And then you got field workers who are making about $20,000 to $25,000 a year. They work much harder than most anybody else out here. Those are the jobs nobody wants to take. So if you have a police recruit, $70,000, and then you get into sergeant, corporal, 125, 150, commander, 175, 200. You start realizing that nobody that's in their tax bracket can affect the way they think about other people.
Come and suck our budget dry.
Yeah, those salaries are stupid.
They passed a Measure G not too long ago.
Ooh.
March 25th, 2014, the city manager says, we need a new tax revenue stream. We have $30 million in structural deficit over 5 years, $6 million a year for pay raises that we've not been giving. We have pensions that are going to be increasing for the next 6 years. We have healthcare costs that are going through the roof. And we also need money for workers' comp. These are stated reasons during city council that he needed a new tax revenue stream.
$20 million.
Which is now closer to $25 million. Well over 23 as of July.
Poverty pimps.
So first they say, 3 months later they say, we're going to beautify Salinas. Sidewalks.
By getting rid of the homeless.
Trees.
With no place for them to go.
And roads. That was actually their whole pitch for about 3 months.
They want to beautify the wallet.
Get the homeless out of here. Make our buildings. Start our new projects around
the
them.
homeless people.
Homeless are human.
You're hitting it. You're hitting it hard. Well, so that lie didn't really go as well as planned because there was also a special tax measure at the same time. And that special tax measure was all about, well, the special tax is you can only spend the money this way. And
Get rid of the homeless and we won't have to use it for them.
It was
Use
for
it for
more
ourselves.
and more fighters. Then they did a petition for 13,000 people. 13,000 people, that's 25% of the electorate.
Right to vote.
So what they do, they lied again and said, guess what? It's for cops and fire. They stole somebody else's idea because they knew it was a good idea.
They're casino capitalists.
That's right, casino capitalists, you got it. So they tricked us. Now they don't even have more cops. They did 6 altogether. Because where's the money going to go? Raises.
Pockets.
Pensions. Ending Friday furlough.
What about the people?
That's right.
Now we just passed
The
Now they just
people
passed an
want money
ordinance.
like they do, so what about us? Alright, they keep sweeping us away.
Yep, yeah, and so you see how much more marginalized people become. So you see this ordinance pass. It says storage of personal property on city property. So what they're going to do is sweep 1,700 people off of anywhere and everywhere within city limits. That's what they want to do. They just want them to go away. Somewhere else is where they need to move.
After all, it's so hard to be homeless when you consider how many jobs there are, what the minimum wage is, and how much it costs for rent.
That's right. And consider $8 billion for an industry, and they pay minimum wage for field workers. And the only way that you can in this city is live families, multiple families in the same house, to be able to pay the rent.
That's right.
A 3-bedroom place, $2,000, $2,500.
Shame on them. That is not America.
Then they complain, oh, well now there's code enforcement issues.
We're
too many
poor, so
cars.
our lives don't matter. We don't have money in our wallets to hide
That's
ourselves
right.
like they do.
There you go. So now we're starting to uncover what the real issues are and how we need to get involved with these issues.
Thank you, Wes. Hey, we got our. What happened? We're not done yet, Rita.
November 3rd. Both of the polls.
I'm the last one.
Education of the children.
That's a good one.
You're the last one, Angelica?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you guys for coming out today and supporting this National Day of Protest. Great thanks, big thanks out there to Wes, always documenting our efforts, our actions here for the community. We cannot rely on mainstream corporate media. Thank you for Alex DeRossi, Indie Bay News, and to the youth that's here as well as everybody here that leans on each other. Thank you to our brothers from Santa Cruz and our sisters that came earlier from Seaside. As you know, Salinas is on the map already. The Department of Justice at the federal level has not done their job. We're going to make it very loud and clear that the Department of Justice at the federal level has not done their job, because if they had, we would not be standing out here in the cold right now. I want you guys to know what it feels like to be out here, and this is not as cold as it's going to get, especially when we start pushing out the homeless. The city council has passed a city ordinance to criminalize the poor. We continue to shame the poor in this city of 155 to 160,000 people now, and we celebrate the rich, the agriculture empire, the $8 billion industry that runs through this city, runs through this county, Monterey County, that is still under the federal jurisdiction, under the Voting Rights of 1965, and is supposed to be protected. Yet District 1 in East Salinas continues to have their voice suppressed, the disenfranchised, and more taxes continue to get passed on the tax base, the poor, which is the primary Spanish speakers, the farm labor force that lives in East Salinas, a roughly of 80,000 people, that is more than half of the city, living in a 5-mile radius in high density, compared to what is New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, that high metropolitan area, high density. We have that same high density in a 5-mile radius where we get nothing in return. But our taxes continue to come to this city here. It's been grandfathered in since the annexation of 1963. So what I want us to do here today is to continue our actions. So once again, we stand in solidarity with all the other cities that are also out there in the National Day of Protest. Let's memorialize this again today through our social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Snapchat, everything. The youth that make up 65% of this city definitely needs to take the lead in the baton now. We're going to have freedom schools that will be starting here soon in the upcoming months. We need at least
roughly 30 students to begin with. I think we have them already, but there'll be another wave of this Freedom Schools coming here, where we'll have attorneys teaching us about civil rights, voting rights, human rights, and we're going to have more people, more professors that come out from the outside to come in and train us, from civil disobedience to policy to budgets and to the next actions. So Tuesday, next city council meeting at 4 o'clock, we're going to need your presence so we can let this council know that we are still here and we will not go until we get justice. There is a new justice campaign. Angelica has begun with her daughter Natalie. We're all jumping on the same thing because it's the same efforts that we have been doing for the last year and a half, and that's called the Justice for Salinas campaign. So please jump on there, let us know what you think, give us more feedback, but we're going to continue to put and expose this public corruption of what we're talking about that has happened here for decades. John Steinbeck, who has written novels, short stories, and books in regards to the race and class and the exploitation, those same people that were burning his books and those generations are the same ones that ousted him and those families that control the 1% here in Salinas. So directly or indirectly, we're all affected. And this has gone too long, where we make up 75% of the city for the Latinos, for ourselves, the Hispanics, Mexicanos. We have Salvadorians here now, people from Honduras, Guatemala. We make 75% of it, yet we have a mayor who is a 30-year police detective, Anglo, that does not represent our views, does not represent our best interest. And for those that thought that to elect a mayor that has a police background would make this city any safer, that's the biggest fallacy there is. We have a record-breaking number of homicides already here in this city, and the year is not even over. We need to put a stop and an end and bring true representation to the entire city at all corners of this city of Salinas. I'll bring Angelica. You're next, Angelica. Thank you for your time. Just want to make sure that we're standing together again. And let's also support our homeless brothers and sisters in Chinatown, known as C-Town. Thank you.
Thank you for those of you who showed up. I know it's cold. I know there's hardly any people here. I was only given less than 48 hours to do this.
But we're here.
But we are here. Thank you. We will do this again because I do not want these 5 men that were killed and one that was brutally beaten to be forgotten. It's not yesterday's news. This is today's news and tomorrow's news. I want to share with you once again what Mr. Castaneda said, my Facebook. It's called Justice for Salinas. And you can come on there and speak your mind. I won't judge. I want to thank all the families, our councilmen from District 1. If you have any more questions, please feel free to call me or Facebook me on Salinas, what is it, Justice for Salinas. And if you want to know more, just give me a buzz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moderator going to court on November 5th, Thursday.
Remember,
We'll be there. We'll be there for you.
La poli, la migra, la misma porquería. La poli, la migra, la misma porquería.
Hey, hey, ho, ho! McMillan's gotta go! 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 How do you spell racist? SPD. How do you spell racist? SPD. You want to call yourself the All-American City? All-American America, KKK! All-American City, you killed John Steinbeck's books! Now you're killing our people! A generation of racists in this city! Brown lives matter!
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Hey, hey!
Ho, ho! McMillan's gotta go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! McMillan's gotta go. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! McMillan's gotta go.
How do you